6 o'clock. Before we get started, I'll make you a reminder that this meeting is being recorded and will be posted online, so keep that in mind as we go forward here. I will call this meeting of the Franklin Township Board of Supervisors to order, July 10th, 2025. A quick invocation. Dear Lord, please guide our minds and our hearts as we go through the business of the township, and please keep in your good graces the folks that are experiencing tragedies through our country and those that are out there trying to help them. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may have noticed that the agenda did not get published or posted online. Our workshop did. I'm assuming there had to have been some kind of technical issue because she was putting them up. So that said, we can go through the meeting. We cannot take any official action this evening on these items that may be listed on the agenda. So we cannot approve the minutes from our last meeting, and we cannot do many of the motions under business. We will go through all of the correspondence. We will go through all of the department reports, and then we do have to vote to pay the bills, but those are usually paid in advance, so we're just going through making sure that we get those taken care of. Okay. Mr. Diadio.
Just wanted to follow up with the chief and you guys, the township, and figure out what we're doing about the speed. Now with Aldi's, we've noticed a much more traffic, and wanted to bring something up to you guys' attention. Chief, I believe you knew about or know about this or not. I believe it was like 10 days ago. We have our neighbor here that was coming from the plaza heading towards Portersville and was going to make a right into their driveway, and she stopped and let my father cross the road. She held traffic back, as you know, she could have made a right, but she just stopped and let him cross in front of her. The guy behind her got very impatient and went out around and came within feet of smacking my dad with a car because he was too impatient to sit there and wait. So just want to follow up and see what you guys have came to, Chief, we've talked a couple different times on it.
Talked to you a couple times, but have you, did that particular incident, that was you were driving that vehicle, man?
That was
Did you
me.
report that?
That was me.
Did you report that to us?
I did not report it to you. I did put a Facebook post out, and I did, but that doesn't matter.
Correct.
But I mean, in happening in so fast, what should have we done? Like,
anytime there's some type of incident like that, you contact us, advise us what happened. At minimum, at best, we put it on record. Did you get a description of the vehicle by chance?
It was just a black SUV.
A black SUV.
Mhm.
Okay. Because there are cameras that we have down at those intersections, and we can pull the footage, approximate time, go back. If there's only one SUV that's black in color that went through there at that particular time frame, we could probably dial in a license plate, contact them, and again, when we're not on scene of something like that, a traffic complaint, if the person who's operating the vehicle or who witnessed it wants to file charges, we have no problem filing charges based off information received from someone at the scene. So if you were able to identify the person, identify the car, we could file the appropriate charges against them, and you would have to come testify in court because we obviously didn't observe it personally.
Right.
So.
Okay.
But in the future, please, anything that happens like that, please call us. We want to know, because it could be a black SUV, and if we're getting multiple reports of a black SUV at a particular time frame, we could start putting things together and hopefully cite the person
Okay.
for something like that.
It's very dangerous there.
I understand that. I agree.
I mean,
I don't know if you see, I sit down there, I try to sit down there when I can, you know, on the thing, and I run traffic on there. I don't get excessive speeds when I sit there. Now granted, that's one of the drawbacks of us not having radar. As soon
That's
as
what I
sit-
wanted to ask. That's
Sure.
one thing I wanted
Sure,
to get clarified on. What is the reason behind the?
that's a legislator decision that they've tried to get radar for the local municipalities for years, and even when I was a trooper, we'd always say, oh, I see a bill's coming across that the locals want to get radar. And for whatever reason, local representatives deny it. I don't understand why. It's
Well,
such a
take it
great
up with
tool.
them.
You could, you
Yeah.
should contact your local
Oh yeah.
legislator and say, hey, why don't you allow the local police to have radar? I mean, when I sit there, all it takes is 3-5 minutes, the cars that are continuing going, they start doing the flashing,
Sure.
and their windows are there. So I don't get speeds there unless I sit and it's the first or second car that comes through that I could get them. But other than that, I think the fastest speed I've gotten through there was like 56, 57.
Well, see, which kills me, because that speed limit is 35.
Correct. Yeah, and
You
again,
know.
he got cited, so I'm saying, but that's the fastest that I've ever gotten through there.
But if we're letting a guy go because of, radar, you know what I'm saying, that we're not allowed to have radar, or we're not allowed to use radar because of our state, whatever.
Correct.
It's just, like what happened to the old traditional 5 miles over the speed limit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get pulled over because I'm going more than 5.
Yeah, according to the vehicle code, 3368 section, you can look it up, speed timing devices, we have to give 10 miles over when we're running traffic like that.
Yeah, that's it. I could be doing other things right now, but my father, me, cross the road every single day. I know it's not you guys. I know it's not the problem, but we're just asking for help. We're asking for whatever we can do. I'm ready to just be done with it and tell you to park in the driveway. You know what I'm saying? I see the same cars, 5 o'clock, 5:30, just a nightmare. Like, waiting for this guy. Oh, listen, I can hear this guy coming. And he is just,
If you do have that particular type of information, call me. Call me on the phone and jot it down, make a little memo of it. At 5:15, I see this car, it's a white sedan,
Yeah.
white male driving, and he's continuously, notoriously exceeding the speed limit, in your opinion.
Yeah.
And then we'll sit someone down there at those particular times. If you have certain vehicles.
at anytime during the work, coming home from work, anytime, I can guarantee it. But I know what you're saying when it comes to flashing the lights. It only takes, It only
Everywhere
takes
we
a couple
sit,
minutes.
Everywhere we sit, that's what happens.
Yep. So,
Did
no,
you-
that's it.
Did that car follow you from the intersection?
I don't know where it came from, and I'll be honest with you. The trees hanging over the road make it hard to
Yeah.
pull in and out of my driveway. So maybe the car didn't see me. I don't know, but it's very difficult to see because of the trees hanging down so low on the road, across the road.
That, like Chief said, that is a point, that there's cameras in both of those intersections that have done a lot of good things, solving problems and finding people and.
I know what time it was. I know what day it was.
Okay, well,
Well, get with me afterwards, we'll talk. And
Yep.
Okay.
I'll try to pull that footage, again, as long as you're willing, because we weren't there.
Mhm.
As long as you're willing to go testify, we could dial in a vehicle, an operator
Something
behind it.
needs to happen.
And then we can report the trees to PennDOT. I mean, do you think Bronson is,
Yeah.
that's something you can take care of?
Yeah, no problem.
I would hope
He's
so.
done a wonderful job, down at the bottom of the hill, everything that he could do. Saying, Chief, I don't know if you've seen that, I told him to, cut back some of the growth, that was, I don't know if I wanna say my property or,
Right.
but close by, and
Oh, on Morrison there?
yes.
Okay.
Saying he's got that taken care of pretty damn good, and just to give,
A better line of sight too.
yes,
Pulling out of the creek.
yes,
Understood.
so.
okay. Kurt Peffer?
How's everybody? Can I say something to this gentleman down here that was just talking? I know your dad, he's a very nice guy, I've known him for a lot of years, I've bought things off him, and I don't come that road too often, but when I do, I've run across your dad coming across the street back and forth, you know. Coming from the Wardenburg side, you know, around the hill there, kinda gives you a jolt, you know, when he's crossing the road right there. I've had that happen a couple times. Could you maybe talk him into putting maybe a vest on?
Well, if you're where, it depends on where you're talking to him coming down, because if you know my father, how hard-headed he is,
Yeah.
we can't tell him otherwise. And
We
he
don't
wants
see
to
it
cross down there at the bottom. He's 80 years old. He doesn't need to be stumbling around, walking on crown vetch that's there, that can get tangled up in your feet very easily. If he falls, slips, guess what? He's going to get hit by the next car coming,
Yeah.
because they're not going to see him.
Maybe
But-
talk him into putting a reflective vest on. Just,
I mean, anything, you know, that's what we try to tell him to cross directly across from his driveway to the other side of the road. But he has a hard time seeing the bend. He can see this side, but he can't see that side. It's just, I mean, I think it's a no-win either way. You know, but if we had control of the speed, you know, if we had honest people that would slow down, you know. I mean, I witnessed it 1,000 times. I'm not saying I'm any better, but when I'm in a residential area, I want to try to be as, you know, I mean, I drive a truck, I drive a trailer, I drive big vehicles. I'm watching every 5 seconds, you know, where I am. It's just normal, but, you know, yes.
okay.
Okay.
All right, as we know what's going on in Texas with the flooding, the kids that were, you know, drowned at the camp. We have the same problem down here at the Connickanassing. And for years and years and years, below the bridge, those islands have been building up, closing that creek in. And a little bit beyond the bridge, down towards my place, there's probably 1 million tons of wood that has gathered into that one section of woods on the right, looking down the creek, which nobody can see unless you go up through there and look. The kayakers can see it back in there. The state comes, cleans that bridge and pier off in the middle of that bridge when the debris gets in there. They used to take the wood and put it on the side of the road. You know, they would have to lift it up with their excavator and carry it across with the machine and then dump it alongside the road on the dam bar side. Now they just pick it up and put it in the creek water and it floats down there. And it either jams up back in that woods or it jams up the two little wee 25-foot wide areas that creek runs. Because there's an island in the middle there. Is everybody familiar with that? That blocks everything off, okay? So when you leave that section of the creek and you get down to Camp Connickwy, it's even worse down there because that creek is almost completely shut off. There's a little path on one side and a little stream on the other, which that creek normally, when it's low, goes down through there okay. But when it floods, them two areas start to build back and floods. What's gonna happen is if we have a big storm like they had in Texas, it's gonna build up and it's gonna block something off and it's probably gonna flood clean back in towards Zilly or, you know, back that way and cause a real havoc. And then when it breaks loose, we got 28 foot of water like they did down there, which it can happen. It will happen someday. Then when that breaks loose, it's gonna take everything out from the camp down. All those people along, you know, going down towards the school. I'd have to say it could even be as high as the school. If it got 28 feet out of that creek, you could be up into that parking lot of that school with no problem at all. And then the devastation from there on down, at the you know, all the bend there and all that. I know the creek goes down deep once it gets around Hazen's Bend, but it could just devastate everything down around Nalco and all that. So what can be done about this buildup at this creek?
So someone on McKinway had said something about a tree that had fallen into the creek. So through the conversation with the Conservation District, which is the first reach out, DEP and the Army Corps of Engineers are basically in charge of that waterway. And until they take a vested interest in what's occurring in that waterway, we really have, I mean, other than we could keep barking at them and saying, hey, we see this problem, we see this problem, we see this problem. But that's where it lands. They are in charge of that waterway.
When people say Camp Conakry, you know, down there at the camp, sits up pretty high, okay? But Camp Spencer's on the right side going down that creek. They don't set up as high, and it's the same camp, they own both camps. 28-foot wall of water down there will take that whole right side of that camp out. And there's people, hundreds and hundreds of people that are in that camp on that Spencer side too. You could have the same exact scenario as they have.
We can't, what if it all, I mean, if we get 10 inches of rain in an hour or 2 hours, we're gonna have a big problem. We get the ice jams, the last time we had an ice jam was down around behind the camps, down by Danbos. That builds up the water, and then it breaks loose, and then we have the problems. I mean, all we can do is continue to ask for assistance, but it's pretty much, it's those agencies that have to run lead on this. There's really nothing that us as a municipality can do other than ask.
Why can't we get the county involved?
It's because it's above the county. It goes to DEP and the Army Corps to take care of that waterway.
Yeah, and one of the things that email that we got, it says is such the fallen trees and sediment is looked at as naturally occurring. You know, that's what we were told. And again, it says, and I'm just reading from the email, that trees can be removed without permitting if removed without having equipment enter the creek and leaving the root ball intact. But it says any sediment or gravel bar removal will require multiple agency approval.
Wouldn't that be top priority to save lives though?
But it is above us, and we can
Well, I think the
continue
township,
yeah.
you three, should pressure those people
Oh, we can.
continuously.
But
Not just let them go for months and months and months at a time. I think after tonight, somebody should be making some phone calls.
the island down by
Get some
closer
answers.
on the other side of the Farm Bill Bridge, in the 45 years that I've been in the fire department, it started as an island and now it's a country. And I know back then that the township had asked the Army Corps to come in and take that island out back then. That was 40, 50 years ago, and it's still there.
And I know they're not gonna get nothing done in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
This needs to be a plan for the next year or so. And we could get this flood at any time.
Well, I think what Kurt's, I wanna say what you're referring to, but is when they removed all the trees and debris from up above the Farm Bell Bridge. They just basically moved it, so it would just go down right through to the next bridge or to the next.
They jammed the whole one side up.
Okay.
And again, I know people complain about the trees in there, but they're not, if they would just take them out, maybe take them with them, you know, don't
Take
just
them
send them
with
through.
Have a shredder there.
Do something.
You know, when we have a tree come down, who do you call? You get Stinson or somebody down, or not Stinson, but who's your tree trimmer?
Yeah.
Does the township, and they get the tree out of the road.
Okay.
Okay.
We can continue. I mean, we've been working on some other things right now, but we can continue to start asking questions.
Perhaps we might contact Senator Vogel's
Yeah.
office and the representative and even the congressman's office.
That's
Lucio, and
that's gonna be our only.
ask them for assistance as
Really,
well.
yeah.
That puts it on record that
Right.
you're trying to do something.
Yeah.
Excuse me, can I say something about Mr. Diattio's issue? What's he got, could a crosswalk be sprayed on there? Would the state allow that to have, you know, you put up a pedestrian sign, you spray a crosswalk? I know everybody pays attention to those.
Well, you go through the mall, you see those and it says, please yield for pedestrians, and at least if you had somewhere to walk, you'd be covered in the sense that if someone did strike them, God forbid, you know, they're in serious violation because.
Years back, we've had permission to put cones down the middle of the road on our busiest times. And we've had cars just blow them right over on purpose, you know, and it
I couldn't
became,
I can tell you with human nature, I can have a very large fire truck with lights on it,
absolutely,
and they'll almost run me over.
absolutely.
So while I empathize, I understand. I mean, it's still people.
Well,
And we have to deal with people that don't pay attention.
Perry was assisting you guys at one time, and they were down the bottom of the hill. The drain pipe clogged, and water just went across the road. And I mean, it was probably a foot deep. And I believe it was maybe a brush truck of Franklin's that was blocking the one side of the road, and cars just going up and around it.
Yeah.
And I believe you guys called in Perry, and Perry brought over the big truck, and they weren't getting through unless they were going off road, and they finally got the answer. But no, I see it every day. I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay, so moving forward, we can go through the correspondence. We cannot approve our minutes, so we'll have to do that at the next meeting. So we have a report from the Beaver County Planning Commission on that rezoning request that came in off of Harmony Fisher. We had a notice of Old Furnace Road's work that's gonna be going on. They're gonna fix the drain-in, millet, and base repair and asphalt overlay. So Lindy sent us a notification on that. The Beaver County Conservation District has been working with Tractor Supply, so we have a couple correspondence from them to help them finish their water plan and their excavation of their property as that project winds up. We have a letter from the Teamsters local. Our road crew contract is up this year, so we will be working on that. Probably within the next month or so, we'll schedule a meeting with the road crew to get their contract started. Planning Commission. So we have their unofficial minutes from their meeting, was it the 9th? Oh, July 2nd. July 2nd. And basically their business was the Emerald Valley Plan, and then the Oliver Brothers Plan up off of Harmony Fisher, with their comments for the rezoning it from commercial to R2. And that's what the Planning Commission's, from the county's letter, was in reference to that same plan. One said it was okay, and the other one said we need to do some more work on that. So we're gonna have to figure out where that lies as far as making that an R2, coming off of a commercial, just based on what he was doing with that. All right, engineers report, we have none. Solicitors report. Ryan, you have anything?
Wonder about the airport, if he sent the letter.
You still with us?
Put us on mute and left.
You still there?
I am, I'm
Oh, there you go,
yes.
okay.
I apologize.
We're up to you.
I have nothing.
Did you get to send the, letter to the airport? Pittsburgh Jet Service?
I did, I not only did that, but I also spoke with their counsel. And he did request that not request, but he asked, what were we looking for? And I didn't give him a particular dollar amount. Just that we want more than what you're currently paying us on an annual basis, given that I believe that arrangement is well over 10 years old. And he said he would meet with his client, get back in touch with us. He appreciated the request, so I mean, he wasn't surprised or anything like that. So what I can do is follow up with his attorney.
Well, did we,
I haven't heard anything back, and that was well over a month ago.
did we make the request to the airport authority?
Yes.
Okay, because, well, that's not even Pittsburgh Jet Center anymore, it's private now, because we went out and did a training out there Monday. But they're just
Well,
a tenant, they're just a tenant there.
Counsel, I confirmed that he's still representing them, and he
Okay.
indicated, yes, that he was still representing the airport.
Okay, yeah, because the board is run out of Zane Opal, but, okay,
So I'll mark that down to follow up with him too.
okay.
So Ryan, would you suggest at our next meeting that we discuss those numbers, come with numbers and discuss it? Is that how we have?
Well, I mean, if there are particular numbers you wanna discuss, we can certainly do that. And perhaps one of the ways we can calculate that is by looking at what they would otherwise pay, in real estate taxes, based upon the property that they own within the township and what the assessed value is.
Okay, yeah, so that's what we're looking for, is that,
So that way we at least, we're not pulling a number out of the air.
right,
And I'm not suggesting, I think it's $750 currently, that they're paying on an annual basis, and I'm not suggesting that number was, pulled out of the air, but I suspect it was simply an arbitrary number, and perhaps working off of a number based upon what their tax obligation otherwise would be, is the more appropriate way to do that. Certainly, they're not going to want to pay that because they're exempt from the payment of real estate taxes, but it at least gives us a number to work off of, if that makes sense.
yep,
I mean, the payment in lieu of taxes is for the services that are provided for like the fire and the police, basically is what we're seeking in the
Correct,
rate, so,
correct.
okay.
Well, and any payment they make, is a voluntary payment. I mean, we have no enforcement mechanism to make them make that payment. So, to go in and to request exactly what they would otherwise pay the township in real estate taxes, I don't think that's a realistic expectation, but working from that number at least gives us a concrete number. Now, another way to look at it is what type of service calls have been made there and what's the actual cost to the township of those calls for township services. Again,
we don't go there often, but when we do, it's for something bad.
Yeah, at the end of the day, any payment in lieu of real estate taxes is an arbitrary number, but I guess we need to begin somewhere
Yeah.
to create a number that we'd be willing to work off of, and that's why I'm suggesting either looking at what they would otherwise pay, or if there are, specific or unique calls because of the type of business that they have, that we can at least trace back and say, hey, this costs the township X number of dollars. Now, that doesn't take into their proportional share of, road expense, snow plowing, police, et cetera, but
Well, they plow themselves out there.
well, I mean, yeah, but their users, get the benefit of, traveling on public, township
yeah,
roads
okay.
too, so.
Yeah, okay. All right,
But other than that, there's nothing else.
okay, thank you. Zoning and building permit report, we have none. Beaver County COG, we did not have a meeting this past month, we have one next 2 Thursdays from now, so, we are still trying to decide, they're still trying to figure out what, input or participation level that we have on trying to gather the data that we're looking to gather from all the municipalities in the county. So our director is looking into doing that. Fire department report, I don't have the monthly number, but we're at 157 for the year. Should be 60. We're at 157 for the year. Just saying, it's been a little crazy. The medical calls we've been answering the medical calls in a timely fashion. Sunday, as a matter I left down there Saturday. Sunday, we had 4 in a row. We had a medical call, and then a structure fire in Elwood, and then 2 more medical medical call and a tree down. So, yeah, it's a little nuts, but we're answering the calls, we're getting everything accomplished, so we're good there. The last EMS Alliance report meeting that I went to, we didn't have one this month, so we have one in August. They're just gonna be talking to the ambulance services, see what their needs are, and they're trying to come up with what the dollar figure looks like before we start figuring out how that looks and if we choose to participate. So I will keep everyone informed on that. EMA report, I have none. Police report.
Compiled the stats and to use yours for June. We answered 137 calls in June. We patrolled 5,210 miles. There was one shift that the midnight officer called off sick at the last minute, and I was unable to replace it. Fortunately, we had a 7P to 3A guy working that night, so we had a little span from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. where I had to put BSP on call for that. So nothing occurred though. I had a new officer come out yesterday to start all his paperwork. He's gonna be joining us out here part-time. The only other thing we're doing is, and I was gonna ask you, we have that multi-factor authentication that we're mandated by CJIS, which is the Criminal Justice Information System. It's gonna be a statewide thing, so Randy, our IT guy, has to configure. We're gonna use a program called Duo. I think it's gonna be $3 per officer per month, but that's mandated.
Yeah.
For PSP. And I'm still working to hire a couple more part-time guys, so we have a nice pool to take from when guys call off and when the guys go on vacation. And those reports will be up here if anybody would like to see them, read them. And that's it for me.
Alright.
Did you wanna touch it all on the, parade,
Which parade?
the parade that didn't happen? Wait, okay, thank you. And I can just bring up, cause I got mine today, going back to the fire department, it's not the report, but the letters did go out asking for donations, it's over and above, what's on your tax bill. If anybody is inclined, it's on there, because it's a very, very small amount that we pay, and like I said, I know the letter, came today, so if you haven't opened it up, I would suggest opening it up and sending a donation.
Yeah, our mailer did go out, so
Mhm.
it's legit. It's not one of those fake things that people are mailing to you. And we don't make phone calls. So if you get a phone call, it's not us. Trust me, because there's a lot of scams. My mother fell for 2 scams in the last month and a half, so. All right, road report.
Burned Silverdale Drive, Franklin Street, Knox Lane, Warlenburg Heights. Set up paper shredder the evening. Continued mowing roads, patch potholes. Repaired damage caused by extensive flooding. Repaired catch basin on Chateau Drive. Repaired extensive pipe floating Franklin Street in the Clinton Way. Repaired large culvert 330 Hickernell Road. Repaired large culvert 424 Dutch Road. Cleaned plug pipes, ditches, and catch basins. Swept debris from heavy rains. Removed crumbling catch basin from Morris Avenue. Extended pipe and profile ditch. Installed speed limit sign on Forest Drive. Removed fallen trees on River Road and Len Street. Removed sunken spot hole, repaired sunken spot on Panther Hollow Road.
Business we cannot accomplish this evening. There is no secretary's report that I have here. I will entertain a motion to pay the bills.
I make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to pay the bills. All
Wait
those
a second, guys, we can't pay the bill.
We can't even pay the bills?
No, I mean, what I recommend, and Steve, when we had discussed this, my thought was, I mean, the bills are still going to be paid. I mean, they're paid.
Well, we do that in the reorganization meeting where we authorize the bills that need to be paid.
Yeah, we know.
Correct, and we can
Okay.
ratify, yes, so we can ratify all the payments of the bills in the August meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. we will skip that then too.
But that doesn't mean that the normal bills, you know, wages.
Yeah, the
utilities,
paychecks and
I mean,
utilities.
everything that's normally paid throughout the month should still be paid.
Right,
But those can all be ratified.
okay, yeah, that's what we usually do in the reorganization meeting, we pass that.
So
I'll take
just
care of it.
next month, I mean, the motion should be, you know,
For
the
both months.
ledger is stated for both this month and the prior month,
Okay,
so that there's no issue.
okay,
I'm sorry for being technical, but I just wanted
Nope.
to be consistent.
you're 100%, that's why you're on the phone. Okay, we don't have any executive session this evening, so anyone else have anything to come before the board?
I attended the planning commission meeting and there was a good bit of discussion regarding the Emerald Valley plan. And it was mentioned that they applied for their NPDS construction permit, which includes their stormwater management plans. And in listening to the correspondence, I didn't hear that there was a correspondence relating to, either from DEP or from Emerald Valley relating to the application of their NPDS permit, which is an Act 14 requirement that they notify adjacent municipalities, including the counties and adjacent and if they did it in Franklin Township, where the discharge is going to be, you should have gotten a notice that the permit was applied for, so that you could make comment to it.
Yeah.
If they didn't do that, they represented at the meeting that they had everything, all their ducks in a row and things, and not having heard the requirement of that notice, that Act 14 notice, I'm suspicious that they may not have been as truthful as they needed to be. And they may have
Right.
gotten the cart before the horse a little.
Okay,
And likewise with the highway occupancy permit, since that plan now, the way that's gonna work is that the only inlet to that new development is through Franklin Township.
Both of them,
As
yeah.
it empties out onto 288. You should be part of that discussion from, as
yeah,
part
we
of
have,
that,
no, I've sat on those calls with the state,
okay.
they're planning to.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So, yeah, we have been involved in those conversations about, so I had some questions about line of sight and how they do their
Yeah.
studies and what's all involved in the studies and like aggregate speed and average speed and I said, you know, cause I actually saw the paperwork on the first entrance that they cleaned up by the nursing home and they were still working on the second one in the middle of the downhill and I said, it showed the aggregate speed or the median speed up by the nursing home at 53, and I said, I can assure you that the one going down that hill is going to be higher than 53. So,
But that's what was in the plan, was
Right.
that one, the
Right.
second one.
And the other part is, for their 537 plan, again, I didn't hear anything about
Yeah.
Act 14 letters being, if they submitted a notice to, and I'm assuming that it's gonna be Butler County and the DEP region and the Northwest region, since it's a different region than it is here. But nevertheless, those notification letters, so that you can comment, and people in this township can comment because we're impacted by that.
okay,
And, you know, I would caution to make sure that the property that's being subdivided in Franklin Township has the required and meets this and satisfies for sewage, because you don't wanna orphan those properties without them having sewage. And then Franklin Township, at a later date, when they go to do construction on that side of it, Franklin Township's gonna be on the hook for being able to provide sewage at the cost to the residents rather than the cost to the developer.
Yeah, we have not received anything from them other than
Well,
the call for,
So,
and with
yeah,
PennDOT.
yeah,
So be on the lookout for those things, where I'm sure there's more to come.
okay.
Thank you.
I got a question for the chief. What happened down by Hazen's Dairy?
Where's it?
Hazen's Dairy on 65? Looks like someone went airborne, across that ditch,
Across from Myers,
Yelko.
across from
Yeah.
Myers, that little brick building, across from Myers, camper sales, is where he's talking.
I don't know.
You never got a
Crash or
call on
nothing.
that? Wow.
Yeah.
It looks like they're playing Dukes of Hazzard. They must have made it then.
Must have landed it.
Yeah.
They're in Alabama now.
You know what I'm talking
I
about?
think so, yeah. Sir,
What's the status on the, housing development there at the airport down? Where are we at with that down?
Jackson Township's just working through their part, there's nothing planned for our side,
Other than the road.
other than the roads.
Yeah.
So, the roads, do they have to go in according to the specs that would be?
For us to take them over, yes.
In, that development on our side was already set up in a blueprint, correct?
Mhm.
So is that the plan of the road that will
No.
still go in? Did they
No.
change that?
They changed that.
So they would have to re-engineer those housing? the
For our
house-
side, yeah, if they choose to do that.
If they choose to do that.
Yeah, that plan is completely changed, and so if they choose to develop our side, then they're gonna have to reconfigure how things look.
And why don't they come out on Franklin?
That was one of the conditions that Jackson Township put on it, from what I understand, that they didn't want it on Fanker Road.
But they did say that they would allow access for emergency equipment on that road. Jackson.
If they cut that road.
Yeah.
I don't think they plan to cut
They
that
said,
road.
I think they said a planning meeting, and I could be wrong, that, that was one of, Jackson's contingency, was to allow these emergency, services,
So
and
what do we have to do to let them build houses up there then?
They can build anything they want, but they have to conform to the zoning, so they have to build a house on every half acre.
And they wanted what?
Third,
I think it was 4.
no, it was 3. They wanted to go thirds.
And one of the things that, at the planning commission, he had said that there was more wetlands than they had anticipated, on our side. So, and the plans that were presented even at the planning meeting, in my opinion, was not, complete.
No, yeah, I'm not gonna argue that.
Yeah.
Their subdivision was incorrect to start this whole process, so, yeah.
What is stipulations on wetlands? Like when cattails are growing, like if you turned to Hereford Manor and went up there, that was all cattails on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Now they wanna build on that, correct?
No, they weren't gonna build in there. That, they were actually starting to talk about the road going in there, and I told them that that's not a place you can bring a road through. So that kind of changed their plans to start that to begin with.
Well, DEP wouldn't allow
No,
that.
and I told them that, cause when I saw the initial plans, I'm like, well, you're not bringing a road out here, I'm telling you that right now. So you gotta figure
Aren't
it
they
out.
allowed to trade lands?
Yeah, that's the fun fact that I found out about some of these things.
Yeah.
Like when Tractor Supply was building, they had to disrupt some, wetlands. So
Yeah.
the state has a repository, and then you pay for other wetlands somewhere else to be able to disturb these ones. It's an interesting concept, and I don't know how they do that, but
It's
that's
within the same watershed.
in the same watershed, yeah.
Where would it be then?
I have no idea.
Could be
They have
anywhere.
a designated.
They just move it from here to here.
Yeah,
To a different county?
Yeah.
Different
No.
township?
well, it has to be in the same
It's
watershed.
not the same watershed, only they just move it from
Yeah, so now
Couple
they're,
hundred feet
they're
down-
responsible for, is that us?
agricultural.
So they could move it right across the street where the lake used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just they create a wetland, it'll.
Where the pond is?
yeah, essentially.
They
But they,
go after the airport.
I learned a little bit about that whenever we were going through this process, and, you know, I mean, growing up over there, I didn't realize that they were considered net wetlands, it was the 2 farm ponds, when I was a kid, that was it. And then however they decided to designate it as a wetland system, but, yeah, so. But yeah, that's
It's a
what
2
we're-
for 1.
Yeah.
If you take out an acre, you have to replace with 2 acres.
Yeah, but somebody else might own the other 2 acres.
Well, the state owns,
Right,
the state has property that, and likelihood is, Hereford Manor, state game lands.
right.
The Fish and Boat Commission has things along the streams and so forth that they own and maintain, so that's where they do their replacements,
Supposedly.
supposedly.
One more question, who's in charge of the emergency management in the township?
EMA, our EMA coordinator is Justin Grogan.
Okay. So in an emergency, in a flood, he's the head guy.
He is, yeah, well, he's the resource. So we'll manage the operations. Our EMA, what EMA does is supplies us the ability for logistics, and they're the liaison between us and the county and the state. So if I need something, if I'm out on the scene and I need a bulldozer, or I need a helicopter, which I've used in 2004, I can go through EMA and they can make those requests happen. And then after the incident, they get involved in damage assessment and help with the paperwork that goes along with whatever the cleanup turns into.
Is he a local guy?
It's Justin, and then he
Al
has an
Martino.
assistant, yeah, for our
Local
township.
people?
Yeah, Justin's a fireman in Elwood, and then my assistant chief is the assistant. There's a lot of training that goes into that, so you gotta find somebody that has time. That's the trick. And we've had people in the past that have not had the training. So we go out, we sought somebody out that has been, up to his chin in the training. He's got every certification that he needs, and that's who we use.
And he's the EMA for multiple
Yeah,
townships.
and we're sharing, so we all share the same problem, so we share the same guy.
Okay.
Alrighty, any other business before the board? I will accept the motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.